So let's talk about the Samsung Q90T. As you guys can see, it is extremely bright and it does a great job of really impressing people and capturing the eye, but there are some things that you should know about with this TV that could be a real deal breaker for those without experience. One being the overly green hues if you don't have professional calibration experience. So while you're looking at a fully calibrated Samsung Q90T, I can guarantee you if you get out of a calibrated mode and go into something that is not calibrated, your experience and mileage will vary to a point where it just won't be worth it anymore, which leads you to doing one of the following things: knowing how to calibrate the TV yourself or being overly reliant on somebody else. And it's not a good idea to have a TV that's just so poorly performing and the hue aspect that you need to spend extra money on it out the gate because you can't dial it in yourself. And if you don't have the experience, that's going to be, I can't stress, one of the biggest deal breakers, because this TV has a problem with making everything overly green. And when I say green, I mean the hue green. So overall skin tones, instead of having a natural reddish color to them, they're going to be green by default and look very pukey. Let me show you what I mean. So right now I'm in one of my calibrated modes, so we're just going to go up to the top here, and then we're going to go to any of these other modes. You see how it just got green? That's one I didn't calibrate. Let's go to another one, filmmaker mode. Again, overly green. At every step, if you don't use dynamic mode, which is the torch mode, the retail mode that makes everything overly blue, even that's still overly green. We try standard mode, and again, it's a little better because I tried to work on it a little bit, but then every mode that you go to will really just be overly green. And I think that's one of the biggest problems that this TV struggles with the most, is trying to find a way to produce believable hues, believable shades that aren't ugly, that aren't unimpressive, right? And I think, like, even this, I'm using natural mode right now because this is the mode that I've put a lot of time in to try to get for most people to look less green. And even this is still green because there's no way to calibrate the white balance. So then if you look at like things like Cal Day, which is your perfect example of what you'd be looking at when you get this TV out of the box. This is your basically essential uncalibrated mode. This TV just struggles way too much in areas that it really shouldn't be struggling in. And I mean that in the nicest sense. Like, I'm not trying to make you feel bad about your purchase, but at the same point in time, like, these hues are out of control. And a lot of YouTubers are not reporting on this because they either don't have the experience or they're either just trying to flat out sell you the TV for the sake of selling you the TV. And honestly speaking, if you have a TV that you need to calibrate, not want to, but you have to, you don't have a choice in it to try to get away from how ugly the picture quality is, that's not really ideal, man. And I've earlier on in the year calibrated, again, a Q90T, and I got the same result, and, you know, I left it alone because maybe it's just the one and done. But, you know, seeing this happen on a personal unit as well, this is something to report because I know this isn't just me. I know there are other people out there noticing this overly green hue. And I watched other YouTubers as well with the Q90T, and I can safely say that they also exhibited green hues in their video quality, which is something I'm able to pick up on because I do these kinds of videos. And it's really just disturbing that nobody is mentioning how bad the green hue thing actually is. You see, when you look at things like this main menu, it becomes very clear just how green and pukey these skin tones are. And your only options are really to calibrate it up or to use a really, really cool color temperature. And that is not something you want to have to do. See, if we go into, again, filmmaker mode, which I've played around with to try to get away from that, even when it's calibrated and adjusted, it's still green to an extent. It's either really blue or really green. You've got black crush to deal with. I mean, it's not ideal. I don't know if you can see the overall green hue to the gray and to the blue. It's just, there's a lot of green there. My only option was to use movie mode to try to really push things around, and that created more of a magenta look than I would have wanted. So unless you're ready to introduce a hell of a lot of magenta into your screen, I mean, you're really not going to get away from how bad a lot of these modes do look. I mean, You see the green hue coming from natural, going to the more magenta look of the movie mode that I've calibrated. I mean, it's day and night with, you can clearly see the hue going back to that green color versus magenta. And it gets even worse when you go into things like Cal Day, where you see that hue, again, untouched. And again, the magenta from the Cal Night that I've calibrated for, not as bad as movie mode, but also not as impactful. And then again, it's just that green hue from calibrated to uncalibrated that you're dealing with, and it's nasty, man. And this honestly will destroy movies, it will destroy TV, it will destroy almost everything that you're watching. And I don't know what Samsung was thinking making it like this, but this, I know, sounds petty, but this is the worst thing about the Q90T, is that image quality, no matter how bright it is, no matter what kind of vividness you see the quantum dots, you're still stuck behind a hue problem. And that hue problem will ultimately ruin your viewing experience for you if you don't calibrate it up or get settings that try to fix that for you. And I just don't understand how Samsung can come from the Q9FN, you know, and the Q8FN, an era of television where they understood picture quality and they got the hues pretty right and you could dial it in by yourself without a lot of work, to now these overly green, ugly, pukey images that don't make sense for anybody. So please, please, please don't take this as you know, I'm just hating to hate. I need you to understand that these are unreported problems because people are out here to get money. And I'm going to be showing more things off. And as I do, just try to keep your ears open and your mind open to what you're hearing, because new information is going to be surfacing very soon. But that being said, thanks for watching the #1 brand in honesty, where we just keep it real with you. If you like this kind of thing, smack a like on this video. And if it upsets you, hey, it is what it is. Until the next video, I'll see you guys later.